Welcome to the training video on how to use the journals in the ACC9. In this video, we're going to go through the use of the journals. It's very important to understand the journals as it's the day-to-day piece that you'll be doing throughout the year. Let's start with the revenue journal. Now, the journal is broken into a left side and a right side, and that is separated by the proof category. Okay? On the left side is where you would input the information on the deposit you're doing. So let's try just putting in a deposit here. So we're going to put it in on the 21st of March of 2021. And let's say it's a check from the sponsor. And the sponsor was nice and gave you $5,000. Now, as soon as we put that in, we see that the proof category now has a number in it of $5,000 and has gone red. So that means on the right-hand side of the proof category, we need to enter $5,000 into the right category. Now the right-hand side is broken into 5 main sections. There's donations, grants, and other such income, game fundraising, other fundraising activities, miscellaneous, and finally the D&D funding and recoveries. Now this one's pretty straightforward what they did. The very first category is the official sponsor. So we put in $5,000 and immediately we see the proof category has gone back to yellow with a balance of 0. Now let's say we were doing a different deposit, and this one was for a couple fundraising activities, but it's one deposit. So I'm just going to put it in as fundraising. And we did pretty good. We made $8,000. Now again, the proof category's gone red. But in this case, the fundraising was a couple different incomes. So let's say you had a squadron lottery and you made $5,000 there. Well, there, you can actually see it now. Sorry about that. Now, in the other $3,000 was bingo income. And if you happen to see all these pound signs, just go up and just slide that line over a little bit and it will fit it in. Okay? Now you see between the 5 and the 3, we have now a proof category back to 0. All's good now. Now, when you get your monthly statement from the bank, this is each month you're going to do what we call reconciling your deposits and your checks. Over in the very first column, you'll see reconciled. So we get the April bank statement in, and lo and behold, both of these deposits show up. So you just click on there and you'll see a checkbox. And you'll notice as soon as you check that, it goes blue. And the same we're going to go for the fundraising. Now these two entries have been reconciled. Okay, I strongly suggest when you first start doing the ACC9, you spend time reading through all the different categories on the right to get a feel for where you can put the money. Okay, you'll also notice that some of the categories are highlighted in a light green instead of yellow, and those are ones that you can change and put your own fundraising activity in. Just make sure you get it in the right major category. Now let's go to the expense journal. Now the expense journal pretty much is the same idea as the revenue journal. Again, the journal is split in half with the proof, category allocation proof down the middle. The left-hand side is where you're going to put in the details of the check. The right-hand side is where you're going to categorize your money. So we write a check. So let's say it's check 1, 2, 3. And again, we give it a date. But let's say now we had to pay rent on our squadron quarters. And we wrote a check for $1,200. Now, If the cost of the rental of the squadron quarters had included an HST, you fill that in at this point. Okay, so you would fill in the HST and the GST amounts. And why we keep track of those is that as a registered not-for-profit group or charity, you can claim back certain amounts of provincial tax and GST that you pay throughout the year. So it's very important to keep track of those bits of money. Now, as with the revenue journal, we now have a red showing up in the category allocation. So squadron quarter rentals is under 1C here, and we put in the $1,200 and instantly our category allocation proof gets repaired. Again, spend some time learning all the different categories. In the expense journal, you have administration and operating expenses. You have squadron cadet activity expenses, fundraising expenses, and then the catch-all other expenses. So do learn all the different categories underneath, and it would make life much easier when doing your journal on a day-to-day basis.